Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. I hope you're having a good day. We have started looking at three-dimensional objects, and we've been trying to picture what they look like two-dimensionally and just try to get a better idea of how to view a three-dimensional object because it can be tricky sometimes. So we've been doing things, today we started doing some things with some Unifix cubes, some blocks. And the first thing we did is we built some shapes and we wanted to look at their top, front, and side views two-dimensionally. So this is a little bit tough to show on the video, but what we did is we built these three shapes. I'm not going to do them all. I'll leave for kids that weren't here. I'll let you try with the other two, with number 2 and number 3, but I'll just do the first one. So we built this shape, and then we tried to draw the top, front, and side view. So on this one right here, on this number 1, these three on the top, these three right here, would be considered the top view. So I'll write top in that. So if I was to draw two-dimensionally what that top view looks like, if I do that right here, the top would look like 4 of these blue squares. 3 of these blue squares. 2, 3. That's your top, right? And those all get shaded in. This looks a little better in class when I have a program that allows me to make these squares quickly. So all you're seeing right now is some sort of average drawing from me. So there's my top view. Now, the front view of this thing would be these ones right here. These ones would be the front view, this 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd call those the front view. And if I wanted to draw the front view two-dimensionally, it would look like this. So I'd have that row of 3, 1. These are supposed to be squares, right? It's a little bit tricky to draw these on my device perfectly. But imagine these are squares. Okay, and we'll color those. Those are the worst squares in the history of humankind. But that's what the front view is. Sort of looks like a coffee table. Okay, so there's the front view. And then if you looked at this from the side, right here would be the side view. So if we wanted to draw the side view of this, all it would be, if you're looking at it from the side, is 2 blue squares. Okay? So that's one of the things kids need to be able to do with three-dimensional objects is identify the top, front, and side view from a three-dimensional object to a two-dimensional object. So I'm not going to do these two. What you can maybe try to do, and I've included the notes on this as well in the email and on Shobi eventually, is try to draw the front, side, and top view of these two guys. I know you don't have the cubes like I do. If you have the cubes, it's a lot easier. We did have the cubes at school, and we used the cubes at school. But if you don't have the cubes, still try to picture what it would look like from the top, from the front, and from the side. Okay? So do that for number 2 and number 3. If you have the notes, look when you open the notes up, see I've left, this was number 1. And I've left space here for 2. And for the third one right here. Okay? That's one of the things we did was look at top, front, and side view. Now, the next thing we did was something called isometric drawings, or we started doing this today. Now, isometric drawings are used in architecture and engineering to give three-dimensional perspective to designs and plans. And you might have seen things that look like this. This is an example of an isometric design, and this as well. So it gives you that three-dimensional perspective. And I like here on this one, if you notice, we've got a top, front, and side view, right? I just actually recognized this now. I didn't even realize it, but here's the right? So there's your three views right there to this three-dimensional object. Now, what we wanted to do today is we just wanted to start building simple three-dimensional designs using cubes. So what I had the kids do is I gave them some cubes, and I gave them this right here called, so I gave them cubes and they had to build these different designs. We started with a very basic one, just a single cube. Now this doesn't translate great on video because this works best when you can hold the cube in front of you and you want to hold the cube in a certain way. But I gave them these cubes and I gave them, this is called Isometric Dot Paper, which allows you to draw drawings with the three-dimensional perspective. So what we did is we started off really simple. We started off with one cube, and you can't actually see me doing this. So we start off with one cube, and I like to hold it in front of me so that it's not, the faces aren't facing me, but the edges are. So you want to hold it so that it's not the face that you're looking at, but it's the edge, and I call that the leading edge. Now, unfortunately, I can't show this to you, but you want to hold it so that the edge is closest to your face. Just pick an edge and hold it closest to your face. And I'm going to show you how you draw this single cube on the isometric dot paper. So you would draw it with this as your leading edge, okay? And then you draw every edge that you can see of that cube. So there's two more, and then you can see these outside edges, and you can see these ones on the top, and you can see this. You can also see this one. Oops. So there's a single drawing of that Unifix cube. And I always hold it with the edges facing me, right? The leading edge. I call this the leading edge right there. So that, if I go back to this, that would be like my leading edge. Now these pictures here don't really match how I'm holding it in my hand right now. You can't actually see me. If you could, you'd see me holding this cube and smiling. So then we gradually got a little trickier connecting two cubes together. So if you do that, again, holding the leading edge in front of you, I would start by doing this. And then I can see two edges this time, holding it that way, and just one edge that way. And then I'll connect these, and I'll connect these. And I can see that top part. I can see this top part. I'll connect that, and I'll connect all of those. And there's if I have two cubes joined. Okay. Oops, wrong direction. Now maybe I'll show one here that has one connected to the top. So the last one I'll show is this one. Okay, so if I go forward, and it depends how I'm going to hold this, right? I'm going to hold this so this part is at the back. So this part's at the back, and this part will be my front. So I'm just going to scooch down right here. And actually, I'm just going to take a second to build it because I don't have it built. There we go. So right now I'm building this with my Unifix cubes. A more organized person would have had this built already, but alas, I just built, okay, I'm all good to go. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with my leading edge. And this time I can see three edges going this way. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And I can see one going this way, so I'll go that way. And I can see this part. And I can see these three right here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I can only see these two because on the third one, there's going to be a cube connected to it. I'm going to make these connections. Going to make these. And I can see this edge right here. Sorry, my stylus isn't working great today, so I'm a little bit off. And then I don't know if you can see this, but there's a cube resting right up there, and I only want to draw the parts I can see. So I can see this edge. I can see this edge. I can see that edge. And I can see the top of this guy. Right there. Oh, and there's one more to connect, right? If I can't see it, I don't draw the edge. Okay, so that is the three-dimensional drawing of this one right here. So what I'd like the kids to try today, if you're able to print the isometric dot paper that I would have sent in the email, try to draw some of these other ones and make up some other shapes and try to draw them. Now, unfortunately, you don't have the cubes at home with you. The kids in class got to build things with the cubes they have. But do the best you can. Play around with this isometric dot paper if you're able to print it off, and try to make some drawings using the isometric dot paper. Sort of a tricky thing to show without the cubes, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what to do. That is all for now. I hope you have a great day. Flexing Teacher Weber out.